PanicInspiration.com.
The Day the Earth Stood Still is a sci-fi classic. One of those movies from the 50s. It wasn't just a B movie. It wasn't just something that they released and it's cheap and it's maybe got that classic kind of thing going to it where it's bad classic, where you look back on it and it's like, I can see the strings or whatever. Really a 5 out of 5 movie. One of the great movies, not just in the sci-fi genre, really kind of one of the great movies of all time. Well worth seeking out. Go find The Day the Earth Stood Still. It is a masterpiece. We're not here to talk about that one. No. We're not here to talk about that one. We're here to talk about the 2008 remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, starring Keanu Reeves. Why do I own this piece of shit, you may ask yourself. Why? Why, James? Why? This movie sucks. And you're right, it does. Why do I own this? One reason, and one reason only. This movie, to entice people to buy it, in an act of such disrespect, I might add, they decided to put the original film as a bonus feature onto this. To not, and by the way, not advertise it as a 2-pack. Like, as you could see, the poster from the 2008 movie, still images from the 2008 movie, synopsis of the 2008 movie, cast and credits from the 2008 movie, and, disc 2, original 1951 movie on DVD. And that's it. As you can see, I'm just noticing this now. I put the original in the first spot on here and the remake in the second spot. I saw this in the theater because I love the original. Here's the thing about this movie. It's not Keanu's fault. Keanu's fine in it. He's still doing his Neo, kind of thing. He's the savior character, and he's, playing robotic the way that only Keanu Reeves can do. He's fine in it. He's not great, but he's fine. Jennifer Connelly is fine in it. Updating the story to make it less about war. It's not about war this time. The reason that the Klaatu comes to Earth. It's not about war. It's about the environment. We're destroying the environment. We're making the Earth uninhabitable. And the rest of the galaxy is like, no, we're not losing a planet because of these creatures. You need to go down and you need to eliminate them completely. In the original, Klaatu lives among the humans for a while, befriends a young boy. And through this young boy, becomes aware that humanity maybe isn't all that bad and maybe deserves a second chance. And this is where the movie falls apart completely, the remake. Because as the young boy, they cast Jaden Smith. I hate Jaden Smith. I've hated Jaden Smith since he was a child. Jaden Smith is terrible. He is terrible in everything that he does. He's awful. He's an awful, awful actor. He's an obnoxious human being in real life, him and his sister. Listening to them talk, you just think, my God, what did Will and Jada do to them? Jaden is still a fairly young kid in this movie. I am trying to think right now, off the top of my head, if I can think of a more obnoxious, unlikable child in any movie, in any TV show, in any book, in any whatever that I have ever seen. He is hateful, spiteful, complete dumpster fire of a kid. And you can say, you know, because Jennifer Connelly is his stepmom, and his dad died, and she's doing the best she can, blah, 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 blah. Abandon this child. Walk away. Say, I loved you, Dad, but now I can be free of you. Sounds cold? Watch this movie and tell me you wouldn't do the same thing. He is... Klaatu would just wipe the planet clean after 5 minutes with this kid. The effects are what they are. They're, you know, they're all slick and CGI and everything now. They're what you'd expect. The kick-ass robot character is now all CGI with the red, you know, laser eyes and everything. He's not cool anymore. He's just sort of what you'd expect from a robot in a movie today. The movie was directed by Scott Derrickson, who went on to do Doctor Strange. And he really improved as a director, I think, as he went along. Because this movie is... it's kind of unwatchable due to really one character. And to allow your movie to be destroyed. You'd think that maybe the reason that Jaden is in this, like After Earth, is because Will was playing Klaatu. That would have made sense. Why they picked this terrible actor. I don't know. I don't know if he knew somebody on the production, if somebody owed him a favor, if, you know, the studio wanted to make him happy so he would do another movie, and he said, I want my son in this movie. Now, granted, the script doesn't do Jaden any favors. He is written to be a little shit. But maybe another actor could have pulled it off. I don't know. Maybe another actor could have improved it. I had no sympathy for this kid throughout the movie, and he literally ruins it for me. Scenes he's not in are kind of fine. They're okay. You realize you're watching a really dumbed down version of a classic, very smart movie. But in a sort of blockbuster sci-fi way, it works. Keanu is charming. Keanu's charming in everything he does. Keanu is one of those guys. He's finally, in the last 10 years, kind of been... You know, everybody's, Keanu Reeves is a terrible actor. And then in like the last 10 years, everybody's like, Keanu Reeves is awesome. We love Keanu Reeves. Which has always been my feeling about him. You know, he's never going to be nominated for an Oscar, but he has charisma, and I always enjoy him in whatever he's in. It's just so, torn down by Jaden being dragged along, and he is in so much of it. So much of it. That even though this movie fixed that character, I would give this movie probably 2.5. It's not great, but it's watchable. But with Jaden Smith in it, I'm going 1 star. This movie sucks. Because of one character, one performance, drags it down into cinematic hell. I have not watched The Day the Earth Stood Still, the remake, but twice in my life. And while I could pop it in and just skip to the highlights of the movie, that's all I could do. I can't watch Jaden Smith ever again in this movie. Just, he's one of those characters in a movie that just got such a reaction from me that he makes it it's just impossible. I can't watch this movie ever again in its totality. Like I said, maybe one of these days I go, oh, I'd like to see the Keanu Reeves interrogation scene or something like that. But I'll never sit down and watch it start to finish. One star for The Day the Earth Stood Still. Seek out the original. Seek it out. Find that movie. Watch it. It is fantastic. Avoid the remake at all cost. The worlds.
Sort of gave myself the challenge of, okay,